Hi everyone, Jennifer Frost here from Australia. Welcome to week 1 of the Crafty Carrot Collective January launch program. We're so excited to have you with us. You may or may not be aware that the Crafty Carrot Collective is a new initiative brought to you by 5 talented Stampin' Up! Demonstrators from around the globe. We wanted to do something special for our customers, so we thought it would be fun if we picked a product of the month and gave you a whole heap of tutorials and classes, prizes, fun games, lots of different ideas for using this wonderful product. We're doing our January program based on this wonderful Weather Together stamp set for free for everyone to enjoy, so you can get an idea and a feel for what we're all about. So today my theme is the Step It Up tutorial. And I've got this really pretty card featuring our Weather Together stamp set, and I wanted to show you how I put that together, and then I'm going to show you a stepped up version. So this is really good if you're a basic or a beginner level, and then I've got an advanced one to follow. So let's give it a go. I'm using some Dapper Denim cardstock for my base. I've got another piece here for layering, so all the dimensions for these pieces will be in the PDF copy of the tutorial, or if you've got any questions just let me know. And the piece that we're decorating today is a shimmery white. So I don't know if you can see that lovely shimmer in the cardstock. It's beautiful glittery paper. It's a heavier cardstock than your Whisper Whites, so it's really good for colouring on, and we're going to start with that. I've got the umbrella canopy from the Weather Together stamp set and Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm stamping that over here. I might go a little bit of an angle. Next I've got the little umbrella arm and the tiny little topper. Polymer makes it really easy to layer images like this. Once I've got that stamped, I'm going to start working on my colouring. I'm going to do my background first. So I wanted to do like a bit of a soft sky. I've gone with the brand new watercolouring pencils. This one's Pacific Point, and I'm adding a touch of Whisper White. I'm only putting it on very lightly, and I'm going in horizontal strokes. Not covering the whole base, just in places. A little patch over here. Deepening it in some places, keeping it light in others. And the white, just, you won't see it, but when you add the water and blend it, the bits of blue that are closest to that white are going to end up tainted with that lighter colour. And it's going to give you a bit of that soft, fluffy cloud look. Alright. So I've applied my pencils. I'm going to use an aqua painter that's already filled up with water. Such great pens to use. Just using a little bit of scratch paper to make sure that my marker is clean. It's nothing worse than when you've got a little bit of residual colour from a previous project and it taints what you're doing. So I am just blending and spreading that pencil. Trying not to squeeze my pen. I don't want too much water on my shimmer cardstock. It's pretty quick to dry, And you'll find you might like to go back over, just kind of doing a few circles here and there, blending in those bits where the pencil was on just a bit thicker. Doesn't matter if it's haphazard, it's all that beautiful sky look. And just here in these bits where the pencil's still there, reblending. Because it's drying as I go and I'm reblending over the top, I'm getting those little swirls. I'm not going too close to my umbrella, I just want to keep a little bit of like a halo around that. If you wanted to, you can see in the original, I've got a few areas that are a little bit darker. So you can actually pick up the colour straight from your pencils. It's going in a bit of a swirly motion. There's no right or wrong with this, it's all just light fluffy clouds. Once you've got that to a place where you're happy, you can just set it aside. So you can still see some of those stroke marks in there from the pencil. And I've got quite a bit of dark here, so I'm just going to balance that with a few deeper patches here. And maybe just a little bit more here. Now you could do this all day if you wanted. I'm quite happy with that. Just going to push it a little bit closer to that umbrella. Next I'm going to colour my umbrella. Before I do that, I'm going to make sure that my marker is my aqua painter. Let's try just taking off the excess blues. Alright, so that's my sky background, and as it dries you'll see it's got all those lovely textures and those lines through it. I decided to go with Melon Mumbo for my umbrella. The sentiment is wishing you brighter days, and I just wanted that pop of colour. It works really well with the blue. When I'm colouring with my watercolour markers, my watercolour pencils, I'm going to be a bit deeper here on the sides along the lines where I want that deepest colour. Then I'm going to use my aqua painter to drag that colour across. So you get that lovely tone and graduating colour appearance. Alright, so just applying the water to those deeper edges. I'm doing my best to try and just stay inside that line. You can see that as I bring the colour over, it's got that lovely dark appearance on one side and then that soft pink through the rest. Just picking up the colour and making it nice, and I want a bit of an even blend through there. Here we go again. Doing the two deeper sides of this panel and bringing it across so that it will be nice and light in the middle. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit through here. Of course, the beauty of this watercoloured look is that it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be smooth. You get some lovely texture with the colours. Just dragging a bit more of that colour across here. Quite relaxing to be able to sit and do a bit of colouring. School holidays at the moment and my children are with their grandparents for the first time in a couple of weeks. It's really nice to enjoy a quiet moment to do this tutorial for you. Again, if you find that there's areas you'd like to apply a little bit of extra ink, you don't have to go drawing directly onto your project. You can apply a little bit of ink to the brush and mix it into the canopy like that. And then we've got a lovely soft pink umbrella. The other colouring that I did was a little bit of black just in the arm, just through here, and I did a little bit of grey. I'm going to find my scratch paper again and just make sure that I'm taking off any residual pink before I mix that colour through. And that's our umbrella and our background done. Now, this area is still a little bit damp, but it should be okay for us to stamp directly onto with our sentiment. I chose the Wishing You Brighter Days. I really love the fonts in this set. I think that they're just lovely. Mounting it to my block, I always do a little bit of a tap on my wrist to do what my trainer called seasoning the stamp to help the ink transfer well off the polymer. Better make sure that's up the right way. There we go, Wishing You Brighter Days. Now I'm going to only ink it the one time. I'm going to select where I want to put it there, and then I'm going to go straight away and add a few extra impressions. I felt like that just added a little bit of interest without having to do much extra effort. It's a really good way to dress up a very basic design. Because when you're working with aqua painters, you will find that the wet paper does crinkle a little bit. For that reason, I made up the smallest little border in this Dapper Denim. You can adhere that onto that, and then that will stick straight onto your card there. And that's how we made our beginner's version. Quick, easy, pretty, and it's really special, I think, because you've taken something that was a plain piece of paper and been able to add your own touch to the complete finish. It really does feel like art. Alright ladies, so the stepped up version of this, normally when I do a stepped up version I stick with the same colours and the same general layout, but what I wanted to do was show you in a little bit of a different colour. So here we've got the pink, and you could definitely do pink in this umbrella if you wanted to. So we've got our pink umbrella with our little bit of a soft sky blue scene, And in this one we've gone for a bit more of a rainy scene, using the exact same techniques and the same products, but I've gone for a bit more of a stormy look on this project. So to get started on that one, instead of the dark dapper denim base, I chose to use a soft sky folded card base. I found that the darker colours were nice, but I really wanted something just to pick it up and lighten it. So I'll just set that aside for a second. We've got a piece of shimmery white cardstock in exactly the same size as our previous project, and we're going to do a similar thing. It's the same canopy that we're stamping. There are a few different designs. Excuse my grubby blocks. I'm going to ink that up there. I'm going to ink that in place over here. Now what I did that was a little bit different this time around, I wanted to use the crooked handle, the crooked arm. I thought that was really cute. So, excuse my notes, I used an old sticky note and stamped the exact same image on top, and then I fussy cut around it and stuck it in place to create a mask. Because unlike the other pieces, the other arm and the other top that all come separate, this umbrella arm, I can find it for you, is in one piece. And that's okay, it just means that we need to do a little bit of an advanced technique to get it all to come together. So I'm going to stick that in place on my block, season it a little bit, and I'm stamping that, just keeping an eye on where it's going over the top. Alright, so this time I'm going for that stormy scene, and I've got some blue and some grey, some black. In the last tutorial we went vertically, and that gave us that nice fluffy cloud look. Sorry, horizontally gave us that nice fluffy cloud look. This time we're going to go vertically, give us that effect of the storm pelting down. I'm going to start with my grey, just soft strokes. Some bits going to be darker, some bits lighter. Rain coming down. Splashing off the umbrella. Over here, a few spots drizzling down from the top. You could use black if you wanted to have this deeper, darker storm. I quite liked the way the grey blended in. Mix of blues. Let's see. Alright, I've got my aqua painter ready. Moving carefully so that as I blend, I'm getting those vertical strokes and not quite dipping into the umbrella there. We can go back and add some deeper colours once our first blend is done. But it's good to get an idea, just that soft rain. Just up and down with that. Just being careful, I've almost just put my hand in that, and it's going to lead to me leaving impressions through the rest of the paper if I'm not careful. I think I want to add a little bit of black. I like the softness of the grey. I'm just adding a little bit of black. To deepen it up just here. By doing it this way, I've got a little bit more control of how dark the colour's going to be. You can see that my background is coming together. It's a bit of a process, so what I might do at this point in post-processing is speed the camera up a little bit for you so you don't have to watch in real time. Once you're kind of happy with where your background is, and I've got that nice rainy storm going on, excuse me, I'm going to then add some colour beneath our umbrella. Lots of bright, happy yellow. And it's also a good time to apply the colour to your umbrella in just the same way that we did to our pink one, but this time with the yellow tones. Just smudge the colour through there. See if I can blend it out a little bit. Up through here. And just a few little extra tones, just a little green, a little bit of coral. The trouble when you add pencils back over onto damp card, she can end up with the pencil markings. It's okay. And I think I'm just going to add a touch of Bermuda. That old olive is a lovely colour, but it's just not very vibrant. I'm going to lift that up a little bit. I'm putting my brush on a bit of scratch paper because I just want to blend that a little bit better. Maybe just a little more yellow. tiny bit more green. Alright, the last few things to do is just the umbrella handle. With a little black and a bit of grey in the top here and through the arm. Just going very slow and careful, I don't want to spread too far away. There we go. So that's our lovely background. Now to build it up, we're going to pop it on the card base. So I showed you that we're going to use the Soft Sky folded card. Now I have just put on a couple of pieces of DSP. I didn't have the stripes left, so I've gone with the text pattern. And because my sheet wasn't quite wide enough to stick onto the whole piece and still stick out, I've cut it and popped it on. Excuse me, I've been a little bit rough because I did have a panel I'd already stuck on, and I'm just going to cover that up. So it's just going to pop out of the sides, just on the diagonal like that. The next thing to do is add the sentiment. I'm sticking my sentiment on with some sticky strip. With some, well, it used to be called sticky strip, but now it's tear and tape adhesive, and it's got a lovely backing on it that's so much easier to peel than the red tape used to be. I've got an off-cut piece of shimmer white cardstock, and I'm going to use that to stamp my sentiment on. Actually, I might use this off-cut because it's a little bit of a better shape. Just inking up on my Memento ink there. And I'm going to use my Stampin trimmer, if I can fit it up here. To cut the angle. I'm going to trim it a bit in on the side as well. And I might just take a tiny bit off the bottom so that a lot more of my ribbon can be seen behind it. I've gone with a piece of Dapper Denim Textured Ruffle ribbon, and we just put it on in a fold. So I'm going to go roughly. Popping it in a bit of a zigzag pattern like that. It's caught a bit of adhesive there. Fold it under. The sentiment will go directly on top with the same tear and tape adhesive. Obviously I've used this one as a practice before. The tear and tape adhesive is really good for when you're putting papers or other embellishments onto things that are not cardstock. So here we've got the paper going onto a thicker ribbon embellishment, and it's going to help really hold that in place. And to finish, I just added some little enamel dots, also in the Dapper Denim. I didn't have any spots left, so I've added a few stars for this one. Just a really fun little detail. Might move that down a little bit. Something that just helps lift that project from something that you might have in your stash if you're a beginner to something a little bit more of a wow factor when you've got your additional layers and things in your stash. If you want to, once this dries, you can always add a bit of extra deepening of colour if you want a more vibrant umbrella. But that's our project. I hope that you've enjoyed watching me make these today, and I really do hope that you'll have some things in your stash and you'll pull it out and give this a go. If you do choose to make a project based on this tutorial, I would really love to see what you've come up with. So do be sure to share your pictures of your projects both on Instagram and or Facebook. If you follow the Crafty Carrot Collective there, you'll be able to see the relevant hashtags so that we can see what you've been up to. Alright, thank you very much for joining us. Please do be sure to join us each week in January to keep an eye on what we've got going on and seeing some of the other tutorials that are going to come out from our wonderful demonstrators from around the world. Thank you very much for joining me today.